Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, AJ, and Jesse coming at you live on Monday. The Western Conference Finals start tomorrow, so we figured it was time to go deep dive, go a little bit of a breakdown into the series, into how we got here, into a little bit of everything. First of all, Jesse, you just got back from 2 hours worth of interviews there. Quite a journey at Ball Arena.
Yeah, no, it was. It's funny, man. It's playoffs. As someone's at my door. It's playoffs. It's Western Conference Final. They are converting parking lots to house broadcasting trucks. A lot of the big Canadian national media guys were in attendance at Ball Arena today, so it's real deal, man. Nameplates for the interviewer or interviewees up at the table, and yeah, they took their time today. It's fun energy. Like it feels like they are beyond the second round.
Well, they are.
Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it?
Some solid math there for sure.
Yeah. No, but Joe Sakic spoke this morning. Jared Bednar, Nathan McKinnon, Gabe Landeskog, Darcy Kemper, Cale Makar. All the big players. Connor McDavid and company were getting ready to speak after that, but I had to get back home to chat with you fine gentlemen. It was a fun day today, and nothing ultra groundbreaking from many of the interviews, but always fun to hear from the top guys.
Jesse, before we get into our full preview, I'm curious what your view of Helm's goal was. Like, because I know sitting in the press box, you're getting ready for overtime, and then suddenly the series is over, and
oh, so it was funny, man. The building was really tense all night. I thought it was going to be a very energized crowd, just given the way that Game 5 went, pushed the series back. But the whole building, like, honestly, dude, like it felt like Blues fans were waiting for something like that to happen. Cale Makar is standing behind the net. And like you said, like I looked up at the clock and I was actually sitting next to D-Mac from 104.3, and he goes, well, maybe they'll get one last rush here. And I looked at the clock and I was like, I don't know. I kind of saw it as like maybe try to get it beyond the red line and someone take like a Hail Mary, clapper from the neutral zone that gets gloved down pretty easily. And then EJ starts skating up ice. And again, D-Mac, he goes, well, you never know. And it happened. We were on the Avs attack twice side of the ice, just the way the press box seating arrangement broke out. So, I mean, I saw it all kind of lay out perfectly. Logan O'Connor just sets that puck into space. And I had the thought, I was like, I thought it was Manson. I thought it was Josh Manson coming off the point. I said, well, Manson's going to get a shot here. And Darren Helm steps into it. And I mean, like, dude, it was just, there's no cheering in the press box, but I mean, there was just an audible reaction from 95% of the people in the press box when the puck actually went in, because exactly what you said, AJ, everyone is sitting there in their game story, starting to write about overtime. People are, at the previous whistle, people had gotten up, refreshed on water, hit the bathroom, loaded up a new bowl of snacks. And suddenly now everyone is scrambling to pack up to get downstairs for post-game interviews. And it was just kind of this chaotic, I had never seen the press box like that. Because like I said, there wasn't any woo, but there was a lot of, oh my gosh, holy shit, oh my goodness. Who was that? And I was sitting 2 seats away from Greg Wyshynski, Avs fans' favorite national media member. So it it was funny to hear all the different reactions. And I mean, we were all stunned. We were ready for overtime. I was like, cool. I'll have 15 minutes here to kind of keep adding to the game story. About, how we got to overtime. And it was just kind of surreal because like you said, I was ready for overtime. Looking at the clock, I was like, yeah, they'll technically get one more shot, but I can't imagine it's going to be a quality shot from anywhere dangerous. And in the blink of an eye, that whole play develops. And like I said, I had just the perfect bird's eye to see Darren Helm walking in. And I knew he was going to get a run at that puck, but it going in before the horn sounded was honestly the last thing that I expected.
That's playoff hockey, baby.
Did everybody else watch that goal approximately 16,000 times over the weekend?
Oh, dude, I've
just
watched
still sort of in shock at how it all kind of played out.
I don't know if I watched the goal more or the Bar's reaction more, because I watched both quite a bit.
I had a handful of people who asked me, they were like, "Where the hell were you? You're not on the watch along, and you're not in the bar." And I was like, I was in the bar, literally when that video
blind spot.
Yeah, literally when that video starts, I am like right next to where it is. Yeah, dude, see where Michael's jumping up and down, where he started in that video. Yeah, where he started in that video, I was standing next to him.
So no, guys, I think I was telling AJ, I don't know if you were back yet, but I was telling Rudo, I've had members of the media over the last 2 days at Avs practice come up to me and be like, "Hey, I saw the video of the bar. That was awesome. That's super cool. Wow, that was really awesome to see." Like seriously, the reaction, that video's, it's amazing. It's great. And the Enterprise Center was the exact opposite reaction. It went silent, and you should have just seen, it was even funny. It was kind of like overtime, the groups of people that just immediately got up and started heading to the door. Like the puck hit the back of the net, and Gabe Landeskog hadn't even made it over to Darren Helm yet, and there was people halfway up the stairs. Like,
did you guys? Did you see the Avalanche TikTok?
No.
Where they have it, they've got the goal on ice level. They're right on the glass.
Yes.
And then you hear the Blues fan in the background screaming, "No, no, no!" I'm gonna make that my ringtone.
Yeah. No, dude, that one was great. Just the background audio. I'm glad someone else. No.
And it was like so delayed because like he scores and they're like 3 or 4 seconds into the celebration, and then it was like they scored and that person looked up at the clock and was like, "Oh no, I just put together what happened."
Well, and so it's funny because
he cuts to the far circle for Koski.
Yeah, not this.
Spinning 3 minutes.
That play was unbelievable. I think it's that top right.
That's that one. Yep.
No.
That was my favorite.
Well, and so the first thing I did, whenever you're talking about a goal that like beats the buzzer like that, the first thing you do is you look at the clock to make sure there's enough time. Yeah. And obviously there was, plenty of time. But then the next thing that I put together was, does St. Louis have any kind of chance here? Do they have any type of chance to make a play off the draw? And at 4.9, and obviously it was adjusted to 5.6, really, I was like, if you disrupt this face-off at all, if it's anything other than a clean, straight back win directly onto the tape, and even then, it's
they got as good a chance as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Like, they got a shot on goal out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was kind of like a clean shot on goal. Again, it was from far out, and he didn't really put a ton behind it, but he got a clean shot to the net. And then the next thing I did was I looked down at the bench, and Andrew Cogliano celebrating
Yeah.
by himself. So I noticed it when it happened, and I was like, damn, that's going to be a really funny video. It was. And then EJ was making fun of him for it yesterday at practice. They were standing in a line, and he just skated over to him and started like jumping up and down like that. And I thought it was so funny because I noticed him doing it in the arena, and I was like, damn, if I'm Andrew Cogliano, I'm just praying they didn't get that celebration on camera. And they did. And yeah, no, obviously I haven't had a chance to talk with you guys about it, and I know you guys have talked, but I mean, huge moment for this group, for the organization. Darren Helm now has 2 series clinching games on May 27th, 13 years apart. Big moment for him. Just it was amazing, the relief on everyone's face after the game. And Manson talked about that. He's like, not relief, like, oh, good, we're not going to blow it. But like, he was like, there's relief every time you eliminate a team. And it was relief that we didn't have to go to overtime. We didn't have to come back to Denver. And you could see it on everybody's face in a way that hadn't seen all year. They downplayed the second round mental hurdle, but I'm sure you guys already talked about this. Downplay it all you want. It meant something. Getting past that hump meant something. And it was cool to see.
Yep. No doubt about it. We are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. If you go over there, use DNVR code, sign up today. With a new account, bet $5 on the NBA Finals. You don't even have to get the bet right, and you get $150 in free bets, which you then can go bet on the Avs or otherwise, however you want to use it at DraftKings Sportsbook. You can bet on cornhole. I was watching that the other night, by the way. There's no hockey on for one day, and I start watching cornhole. That's how my life's going. But you can go over there. You can bet on whatever you want. You got to use the DNVR code when you sign up. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And then when you win some money, go get yourself some Breck Brew. You can get it at your local liquor store. Use the Breck Beer Locator online to find it near you. You can also go to breckbrew.com and enter for your chance to win tickets to Avalanche home games in these playoffs. You at least get games 1 and 2 of the conference finals, no matter what. Hopefully more than that. If they go to the Cup finals, Breck Brew will have tickets to those games. So be sure to get over there and go check all of that out. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's get into it. Pretty sure everyone in chat knows the path the Avs took to get to the conference finals, but just as a recap here, they did go through 2 rounds of the playoffs. First, sweeping Nashville in round 1, and second, going 4-2 over St. Louis in round 2. So they're 8-2 so far in the playoffs. A lot of the underlying numbers indicate they might be the best team in the playoffs. Hard not to feel confident in the Avs right now.
Yeah, I think so. I also think that those strong underlying numbers are driving the public models, putting them at like 75% and stuff.
Yeah.
And watching Oilers fans be like, man, the disrespect. And it's like, you know that this is math, right? Like, they didn't come up with a model with like, I don't like Edmonton. Let's tweak this. Like it's built on their head-to-head probabilities built around on-ice results.
Right.
And when you look at their on-ice results, like I'm done writing my series preview, which I will publish immediately at the end of this podcast. But it's the one thing that sticks out when you get into this and you look at these 2 teams is that Edmonton outscores everything that they do. They don't generate an incredible amount. They don't suppress much of anything. They don't do any one thing really, really, really exceptionally well except score goals, which is a pretty good thing to be good at.
If you're gonna pick one thing to like really excel at,
Yeah.
scoring goals is pretty
It's a
dope.
pretty good one, man. And to be honest with you, like it's the McDavid, Draisaitl, and Kane together, especially. It's those three that are outscoring everything. Their underlying numbers together are like they're fine. They're not bad, but they don't make you go, wow, these guys are crazy.
They're dominating, yeah.
Outside of the goals that get scored. So you do look at it and you say, okay, well, how much of this is the fact that they just had a 5-game series where Jacob Markstrom posted an .852 save percentage.
Yeah, fell apart, man.
An impossibly low save percentage. How much of it is Markstrom? How much of it is finishing? It's always a little mixture of both, but you do wonder if you get better goaltending and you slow down that top line, what do the Oilers have? Because it's not like the Oilers are a bunch of bums after that. You know, Nugent Hopkins has been good. Zach Hyman's a good player. Yamamoto's a good player. It's a solid, respectable second line. Whew. But that bottom 6 is pretty bad.
Yeah, it gets rough quick.
Well, so and that to me, I think Rudo, it was you who said it's hard not to feel confident about the Avs right now, especially in this matchup. That to me is just where so much of it comes down to. The Oilers forward core reminds me a lot of what we saw from the Avs. Maybe go back to like that Nashville series, maybe the year where they knocked off Calgary, where you had your top 6 that really drove the bus for you. But then a lot of your bottom 6 was just play us to a tie. Just don't actively hurt us and let our top guys take over. And that's a fine formula for the regular season for one game. And give credit to the top of the Oilers lineup. They've played spectacularly so far through these first 2 rounds, and they've been able to get away with that. But once you start getting into these later rounds, I always thought Calgary's depth was a little bit overblown. And I think that got exposed a little bit. But like just as you continue going later with any of these teams that are left, it's really hard to just say, we just need half of our lineup to survive. Everybody at this point has the depth. JT Compher and Darren Helm are your goal scorers in Game 6 for the Avs. The Oilers, I just don't know if they have an answer for that. And losses are never a good thing, right? You never want to lose. But like there is part of me that like, now that it's behind you and in retrospect, like that Game 5 loss, I think showed a little bit more mental toughness out of the Avs than they had been forced to show.
Yeah, we learned a lot more about the Avs because they fell apart and then responded the way than they did than had they just closed Game 5.
Yep. 100%.
We learned way more, and maybe more importantly, they learned way more about the Avs.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, again, without jumping too far ahead into this conversation, like I sit there and I say, with again, one more lesson that they had to learn before they could get out of that second round, that just combined with the depth, the way they're bought into their structure right now. I'm not saying that Edmonton's going to be a pushover team here, but I think Edmonton, if their plan is, hey, just keep doing what we've done the last 2 rounds and it'll probably work out, like they're going to have to make some serious adjustments given the way that we've seen the Avs play against 2 teams that, in my opinion, are much more structurally sound than the Edmonton Oilers.
And just to circle back a little bit, yeah, there's zero doubt that Edmonton Oilers top scorers are everything for this team with 26 points out of McDavid and Draisaitl. Even Kane, who's been productive for them, significantly behind those top 2.
Yeah, Kane leads the NHL in goals. He has 12 of those 15 points are goals.
Are goals. Yeah.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, isn't the next closest after Kane like 8 points, 8 or 9?
Yeah, there's another big drop after that. So
yeah,
it's certainly one.
It's not balanced.
Yeah,
it's not. it's not like those are the only guys who have scored for them, but where like you go down Colorado's lineup and it's like you got a handful here, handful here, handful here. It's like for the Oilers, it's like here it is. These guys,
Well, and-
these are the ones that did it for you.
And even Mikko Rantanen, like, look, I'm not going to try to like sugarcoat it, whatever. He has not been good, not been good enough. His play looks like, just without even diving into anything, you're like, yeah, he looks bad. He's over a point per game player right now in the playoffs. Like, even the players that are struggling for the Avs are finding ways to produce throughout the lineup. And that's this time of year, that's what you have to have. That's arguably why the Avs hadn't gotten to this point so far. We thought last year was as deep as they could get, and they one-upped themselves this year, and the depth is even more important.
Yeah. Look at what got the Avs over the hump against St. Louis, right? 2 goals from JT Compher and a goal from Darren Helm.
Nuge has 4 goals, my man. He does not have 11. We're talking about not just points, not just feasting off of assists left and right. Lots of guys have lots of points on both teams. I'm talking about the guys who are actually putting pucks in the net. Nuge has been there, and like Bouchard has 3.
Yep.
And that's been nice. Obviously
We'll talk about him in a little bit.
Well, all of their defensemen are extremes.
Yep.
In one way or the other. They don't really have anybody that's like, oh, I'm just a good defenseman. It's just all extremes.
Yeah.
But point is that their goal scoring has come from a very distinct cluster of dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been. And Oilers have scored 52 goals, and I believe McDavid has been on the ice for like 38 of them or something absolutely absurd.
Yeah, dude, I mean, like, their scoring together is broken.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been completely insane.
Yeah.
The
problem to solve is very obvious on it for anyone facing Edmonton. And most likely the reality of that problem is, oh, did I catch it? Did I mute it?
I didn't get the sneeze at all.
Good. Most likely, the reality of that problem is McDavid and Draisaitl are going to get some, but you got to keep it to a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
So that's the task the Avs D is going to be left with.
Look, Matthew Tkachuk talked about it last round. He talked about it, and then they did nothing about it. But he said, "We're letting one player beat us." And again, I'm not trying to take away much from the Oilers. They're in the Western Conference Finals. You give credit to them. But like Connor McDavid has been 90% of this run for them.
Yeah, I mean, like McDavid and Draisaitl together, especially when they got put with Kane, like that trio, like won them a series. Mm-hmm. And great, like your best players just did that. The question is what happens if those guys don't win them a series? Because we just watched Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. It's not why the Avalanche are sitting in round 3 right now.
Yep.
Well, and let's not make any mistakes here either. We're going to sit here and say, well, all the Avs have to do is stop Connor McDavid. Like, that's easy.
Sure. I mean, it's like on paper, you're like, okay, slow down McDavid. Like, don't let McDavid like triple you up, right? Yep. Like if McDavid's going to get a goal every night, okay, limit it to a goal.
Yeah, but McDavid has played superhuman levels so far through these playoffs. He's earned a lot of what he's produced. So make no mistake on that side of it either.
Well, dude, there's two great equalizers in these playoffs. I have picked against one of them for 2 rounds, and AJ has picked against the other for 2 rounds, and we've both had it stuffed back in our face. It's Connor McDavid and Andrei Vasilevskiy. They are the 2 players in these playoffs who you cannot account for what they're going to do. You can there's 1,000 things that you can look at in the course of a game and say, I think based on this game, this series is going to go this way. And so far in these playoffs, McDavid and Vasilevskiy have taken all of that and just double middle fingers right back in your face And I you feel good about the Avs, but like I'm not going to comfortably pick against Connor McDavid at this point. He's stuffed it back in my face too many times.
Well, and like this is the thing is that we can talk about. Look, Colorado's defense is undoubtedly fucking better than Edmonton's. It's not even close. It's just not. There's there. I see our upset. I don't know if he's an Oilers fan or not, but trying to take away from what the Avs have done in the postseason and beating two worst teams or whatever. But like let's realize here, Rasmus Anderson and Noah Hannafin are not Devon Taves and Cale Makar. They're just not, and so this is going to be it's going to be a different and LA certainly didn't have anybody like that on their back end
with no Drew Doughty.
Yeah, and like as beat up as the Kings were in that series, like let's be real here. The Avs on defense have some answers to things that just have not existed in the other two series. Even a Bowen Byram, as great as he was against
St. Louis,
against in the Blues series, like that Byram EJ pairing was excellent.
Yeah.
If they can continue to be excellent, look, I'm not saying that they're gonna be a solution to Connor McDavid. That's probably not a matchup I'm gonna like very much. But I'll take that. I'll take that chance. Like I will take Bowen Byram and Eric Johnson for 2 minutes to 4 minutes a night against Connor McDavid if need be, and not feel like it's a lost cause. But Taves and Makar is the best that they will have faced. And to be honest with you, Nathan McKinnon will be the best that they have faced.
Is this Avs?
Go ahead.
Well, and I'm asking genuinely, is this Avs decor the best defense that's left in the playoffs?
Without Sam Girard, it gets tougher. Like Sam Girard in this series in particular would have been really nice to have around. For moving pucks out of the zone. But I would say that at the high end, they're probably right. I still think they're right in line with where Tampa Bay is. But not having Girard, it was how it worked all together. Girard, Manson, Byram Johnson, because Byram Johnson is do you trust him as a true second pairing? And my answer is no. But they've also been like exceptional together in any of the matchups that they've taken on. They've been so good. So they might be a true second pairing, and then
and how good has Manson been?
Yeah, whatever you're getting out of Josh Manson, you're loving at this point because he's just playing good hockey for you. Yeah. But it was different with Girard. Girard Manson was just such a perfect classic pairing. And now you're in that Jack Johnson, Ryan Murray conversation again of like, that guy is really like that sixth guy you're just really uncomfortable with for some different reasons.
Yep. It's, I do want to get into the defensive talk as well.
More comfortable than you've been in the past, though.
Guys, can we move on from the Blues in our chat? Like, can we?
Yeah, that series is done.
We still get. I have no issue with Blues fans continuing to hang around. You guys are great. But like, let's move on.
Yeah, it's
you
over.
You guys are at home now.
There is no. You can't redo history.
Yeah, you got suitcased.
On the Avs side of the top scorers, the heights are nowhere near Edmonton's side. But
yeah, not at all.
At the top, it's still Makar, it's still McKinnon, it's still Landy and Rantanen. And I think it's easy to say that you're going to need more out of those guys in this series than you got in the St. Louis series.
Look, you just won a series where Cale Makar gave you 3 points in 6 games.
Yep.
Like, you want to know why we're talking about Colorado's defense and their depth? And you go through their lineup, and it's Bo and Byram. Sam Girard goes down, Bo and Byram drops 5 points.
Right.
Devon Taves just continues humming along, producing. Oh, here's a point, here's a point, here's a point. Like Colorado can death by 1,000 paper cut Edmonton in a way that Edmonton just can't really match. Edmonton's whole thing is that at their highest end, they're like, if Connor McDavid continues this Gretzky routine, like, you just may not be able to beat them.
Right.
You just may not be able to. Like, that just might be how this goes. Because McDavid, if you're, and I did this last series, if you're lining up the best players in the series, Connor McDavid is number one. I would say, given how he's played in this postseason, you could put Draisaitl at 2. Just coming off that Flame series where he had like the 3rd most points ever in a series.
Yeah.
Injured.
Yeah, like on a bum ankle. Like, the guy's an unbelievable talent. So you could put those guys there, right? And then it would be what?
How far
5
down is
abs
Evander
players?
Kane? Yeah.
Yeah, like, the question would be, given how they've played this postseason, would you probably rank Evander Kane ahead of Mikko Rantanen? Just because we all know that Rantanen just has not been Mikko Rantanen.
But even if you're having that conversation, that's McKinnon, Makar, the way he's played, probably Landeskog in front of that guy. And you can make arguments for Taves. You can make arguments down the list. But
yeah, well, and I mean, Byram was so good at the end of that last series that he's going to sneak into that conversation, because you go and look at his numbers, and his numbers were like special.
Yep.
And that's where like Edmonton's defense is just it lives in the extremes, and Colorado was just so good all the way down. Taves and Makar do everything. They can play all situations. They do all of that.
Well, and that's, you're asking your stars to keep you competitive against McDavid's line, right? McKinnon and the 3-headed monster, or if they stick Nuke back up there, or however they want to run it. You're asking that line to keep you competitive with McDavid and let your depth push you over the top.
Yeah, totally.
So,
well, and the other thing too, people use the term game breakers a lot, right? And one of the things that you talk about with Edmonton is what makes them so hard to play against is you could dominate them. This is theoretically, right? Hypothetically, you could dominate, control the puck for 18 consecutive minutes in the offensive zone. And in one rush, they can go the other way, and they have the high-end elite talent to score. That's where I do think that Edmonton may run into some problems here, because not only do the Avs have that, they just have so much more of that. Andre Burakovsky, who hasn't been...
Andre Burakovsky on your third line, is a good example of on any given day.
Right. You can feel however you feel about how he's played this postseason. I don't think he's been particularly... I don't have a strong opinion on him, like one way or the other. But we all have seen, like you said, AJ, on any given day, that guy can come in and drop 3, drop of a hat. Mikko Rantanen, we're all expecting that, he'll find his game at some point. Suddenly there's a 90-point guy that just woke up. Gabe Landeskog, Nazem Kadri had a hat trick in round 2.
Nazem Kadri was a huge reason why they got out of that series. I mean, you look at the Nashville series, his only goal in that series was the one that Connor Ingram put out in front on the power play. That you're muted, Rudo. That's the only goal that Nas scored that series, and then he was great in the second half of the Blues series.
There's this take in chat that Edmonton slowed it down against the Kings, and that's just not accurate. They gave up over 40 shots 3 games in a row to the LA Kings.
And if that's your example, that series went 7
with LA lacking the high end talent.
Yeah, if Edmonton plays the way they did against the Kings against Colorado, this is done in 4.
Yep.
Like Colorado was light years better than the Kings. That's not the example that you think it is of their ability to slow it down and play that style. That's not. The Kings can't score goals. They couldn't all year long. Colorado's probably a little bit of a different animal there.
Does bring us to the next facet of the series, which is the goaltending, which we will get into after I tell you about Lightshade. 11 different locations here in the Denver metro area. Great place to go get your weed or your CBD products, whatever you might need. Use code DNVR. You can check out on lightshade.com and get 25% off select products. That's buy an ounce, get a quarter free. Jump on it. You can also go down there and get their Escape Artist CBD topicals. Works great. Blaze swears by them. He's playing out at his it's Men's
I
League
don't even know
Nationals
what
or
it's
whatever
called,
it's
man.
called. Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Is that where he is?
Yeah.
yeah,
I was texting him over the weekend.
it's like I don't know. It's like has been heaven out there, man.
It's real weird. It's a weird thing for sure. But Blaze
Yeah.
says he uses the topicals on his wrists, on his knees. It really helps the dad bod out when he's going full bore at Men's League Nationals. So it works for him. It can work for anybody. Go check him out. Go check out Lightshade. Again, 11 locations in the Denver metro area. So they got you covered if you are here local. Men's League over 40, apparently, Nationals. So old guys only. No Jesse allowed.
Yeah.
Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. So 2 different faces to this coin. Edmonton has gotten pretty solid results out of Mike Smith, and it's no secret that the Avs need better out of Darcy Kemper than what they got against St. Louis, even if there is some funny puck bounces involved there.
Well, so this is the other thing is that when you start looking at goals saved above expected in the postseason, you're talking about across 8 games for the Avs. You know, I guess 10 games for the Avs and 12 games for the Oilers.
With Kemper, it really is. It's not 8.5, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's. I mean, not even that. It was like the first period of that game against the Preds that he left. But it's like they. The thing with that metric that makes that I don't know, good defensive teams struggle to produce like quality results in that, especially in smaller samples, because you give up 2 goals. You know, a normal hockey thing happens here. You give up you have a 2-goal game against, and you're like, hey, I actually played pretty well, but your expected goals for that game was 1.5, so you're negative.
Just because you didn't give up a ton of quality chances, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, all right, well, it is what it is. And it rewards teams, it like rewards teams that give up a lot of opportunities the other way. And like Smith is, like Edmonton gives up its fair share.
For sure.
Edmonton gives up a lot the other way. And Mike's, like, to his credit, Mike Smith has been good enough.
Yeah.
And
good enough
the thing with Smith, though, is that you just don't know on any given day. Is Mike Smith going to be great today? Is Mike Smith going to be brutal today?
Edmonton opened their series with Calgary by getting 9 goals dropped on their head. Now, only half of those were Smith, but still, that's Mike Smith, is he can show up and give up 4 goals on 9 shots, or he can show up and give up 1 on 27.
Well, I was going to say, and there is almost kind of a level of that same little bit of randomness to Darcy Kemper right now, and there's a lot of people that are really harping on where he sits. And
you got the dude in here talking about his like 904 or whatever.
Right. And it's like
yeah, there's no doubt, man.
And like straight up wasn't good enough to end the Blues series. The team had to lift him up. But again, that's why you have.
I don't even. Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's why you've got a team, right? Because you're not always going to have your best game every single night. He looked like he was battling a bit, but he got through it. And a couple of those games dipped his numbers a bit. I don't think Darcy Kemper has been bad in these playoffs.
No.
And, I mean, he got off to a really solid start, struggled there at the end of the St. Louis series. And that's part of what has led to his numbers a bit. But like in the same way, with Mike Smith, where, hey, look, he's shown up and he's played well. It's kind of the same thing. We're just like, there are going to be nights where Darcy's got it, and there's going to be nights where he doesn't. And I think people are harping on the couple nights where he didn't have it.
Well,
I just said that there was a. Anyway.
I think.
Wait, was
part
that
of-
at me?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't think I said anything that outlandish.
No.
Even with the nights where Darcy doesn't have it, right? Like you look at Darcy and you look at Mike Smith, and against St. Louis, the nights Darcy didn't have it, you're also going like, well, that puck bounced off three things right onto to a dude's stick directly in front of Kemper. Like,
dude, yeah, like look at the Game 5 meltdown where everything is going wrong, and a puck, like his mask is loose, and a puck comes up, hits him in the face, and takes the bounce that it did off of his gear like that, and lands on Robert Thomas's stick. Where you're like, wow,
Yeah.
that's clean living.
Meanwhile, Mike Smith can't track a puck that gets shot 120 feet away from him, and he still manages to win the hockey game. So,
yeah, I mean, and that's just as fluky. Like he's not going to
sure,
one of those
right?
up,
I agreed, but
it's like you do watch that series, and you're the way that I am always judging goaltending is, what do you want him to do differently on that goal?
Yep.
And with Kemper, there were, I believe I counted 5 goals in the St. Louis series that took either a deflection off an Avalanche stick where he just doesn't have a chance, or some kind of astronomical bounce took place where you're just like come on. And then there are a handful, and that doesn't count any of the the O'Reilly like pseudo breakaway goal to open the series, Jordan Kyrou in Game 6 on a 2-on-1, like with a perfect one-timer on the backside there. Like, what do you want a goalie to do about? Like, you're asking a goalie to make those saves? Because if you're asking a goalie to make those saves, your expectation is he's got to have all that shit.
Right.
You're gonna be really, 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 really disappointed. So it's like you're looking at, okay, which are the goals that Darcy Kemper just like gets beat? Like Darcy Kemper, where you're like, dude, you've got to have that. There's plenty of them in that St. Louis series. They're there, but they're nowhere near as plentiful as his numbers might tell you. Like if you actually sit and watch that series, like Game 6, he gives up 2 goals. 2 goals go in the net against him. One of them is on a 2-on-1, and the other one, it just beats him. And you're like, okay, the Falk goal to open the scoring, yeah, you want him to make that save. I don't care that thing is wide open. He is 8 feet from the net and by himself and gets to pick that spot. You want him to make that save. He almost does. He gets a piece of it. He got enough of that puck to say that he probably should have had that. But outside of that, no other goals go in that game. Now, obviously, Josh Manson helped out quite a bit there. But you're talking, he gives up 1 goal in that game where you're like, bro. And then the other one is a 2-on-1. That's an elimination game where your goaltender gave up 1 goal for you.
Right.
That's the
like
magic of
this conversation about, oh, Darcy Kemper's been so bad and this and that. Like, it's some of it is absolutely fair, because I think every single Avalanche fan on earth should be able to comfortably tell you he's got more to give.
Yeah.
for sure.
But the idea that he's been like just so terrible and this and that, like it's just a touch not on the true side.
he also
Because
you
there were some
blame him.
real
There
were some real hockey things that happened to Darcy Kemper in that series.
hard to blame him for things entirely out of his control.
Yeah, like go and look, and I was just go and look at the goals that got scored in the series. Like you want to be like, oh, well, Ville Husso wasn't very good. Well, Ville Husso's just like giving up goals on the short side, and this puck is in off of him, and that puck, and that, and that. And Darcy Kemper's got pucks going in off Josh Manson's stick. A slap shot from Colton Parayko that looks like it's going 6 inches wide.
Taves stick
Breaks
in half.
Devon Taves' stick and goes in. Like, some of that's the stuff where you're just like, what the fuck, man? And where I think Edmonton should feel confident is that they've seen really good out of Mike Smith, and Colorado hasn't out of Darcy Kemper. They've gotten good enough at plenty of times, but there hasn't been a game where you're like, "Woo,
Kemper won a
Darcy
hockey
Kemper."
game here. Yeah.
Bro, you could keep saying that there's no fluky goal category, but numbers do lie. This is why we talk about them. Otherwise, you would literally not have to watch games.
Yep.
Like,
Otherwise, the game's been predicted, and the Avs are 75%
yeah.
to win the series.
Otherwise,
So I guess
the
they're
model
moving
has
on.
Colorado
Yeah.
winning. So I guess we're done here. Thanks for coming.
Like
the thing with the goaltending conversation, though, Darcy has way more to give, and you just wonder, is he going to get there?
Yep.
Because he's gonna have to in this series. He's gonna have to. There's no way against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl that Darcy Kemper is going to be average and the Avs are going to walk out of this series.
So
you just can't expect that to happen. He's going to have to turn it up.
The way you just put that, honestly, kind of sums up this series for me, and I didn't really realize. I didn't know how to articulate this, but I really do. I think when you're looking at these two teams, when you're looking at the Avs, you're saying, all right, you need these guys to get to another level. You need them to step up another level, whether it's Darcy Kemper, Nathan McKinnon, Helm, whoever. And on the other side for Edmonton, you're saying, how long can these guys stay at this level? How long can Mike Smith keep playing this? He talked about it today. He joked at the media availability. I'm 40. Someone asked him, do you feel 40? And he goes, yeah, I feel 40. Like, they had to deal with load management for him for a reason.
What does that even mean?
Did he also say he was a man and that you should pick on me?
That would have been amazing. Yeah, I feel 40. I'm a man. I'm 40.
But so you're really kind of sitting there and you're saying this is the furthest Mike Smith has been in the playoffs in over 10 years. Can his body hang on? Can Connor McDavid and an injured Leon Draisaitl continue to drag this team through, playing it at a level that is just on another planet right now? Maybe the answer to both those things is yes. Maybe. Could be. But for me, it's about, can the Avs take their play up another level versus how long can Edmonton just sustain at the level they're at? I think the Avs are easily the best team that Edmonton has played so far. And it's just going to be interesting because they've played really well. Not going to take a thing away from them. Dude, they have played very well.
Edmonton fucking dropped the hammer on the Flames at the end of that series. Yep. They were like, we're done.
Yeah. And how long can they keep doing that? We'll see.
Well, I do want to talk about X factors, and for Edmonton, I put Evan Bouchard because he's the young hotshot on their defense, but really it's all of Edmonton's defense is the X factor to me. We've seen Edmonton, certainly against Calgary and against LA too, were more than willing to play fire wagon up and down the ice, crazy offense only hockey. And I don't think the Avs are afraid of that. I'll put it that way. I think the Avs are more than willing to match them with that. So I'm curious what they can get out of their defense on both ends of the ice.
Yeah.
Edmonton is more than 3,000 feet.
It's 3,000.
Yeah, it's a lot lower. It's
like I think like the official number is like 3,100.
No, Rudo, guess.
20.
I'm sorry, 3,100 in difference. It's like 20. Yeah, it's 2,100 in its actual elevation.
2116.
Yeah, there you go.
I saw this the other day, so I was. I saw somebody mention it and was like, "Wow, they're flying in early," which is something that St. Louis did not do, and we talked about it in Game 1 that they flew in the day before. Edmonton also had like a hellacious
they have to get across the border.
Yeah, so they flew from Edmonton to Vancouver, got in a bus, drove to Bellingham, and flew from Bellingham to Denver to avoid COVID protocol stuff.
What stuff? Because the COVID protocols aren't very.
I don't at this point, dude. Everything has been changed around so many times between the borders and the countries. I don't remember what's what anymore.
Well, in certain
But
provinces have different
driving
stuff.
across,
Canada.
you don't have certain testing that you don't have to do, and flying across, you do, and so that's how they're doing it to skip through all that. It's just
but
yeah.
I thought St. Louis. I'm glad you guys talked about it in the Game 1 show, because it was a thought that I had. Because not only did they come in the day before, they actually practiced in St. Louis,
and then flew out
like in the late afternoon and the evening. So they were in Denver for 24 hours before they had to play Game 1.
Yeah.
Which again, I think the altitude gets a little overblown sometimes, but like I was raised in Colorado, and I remember tournaments, back growing up, where we'd go somewhere for a tournament and we'd come home and then play a league game that Tuesday. And like your lungs were burning after being gone for 3 days, 4 days, and then coming back. Like it makes a difference. And I just thought it was interesting that St. Louis did that, knowing they were coming here for multiple days.
Everybody in chat has decided already whether or not it makes a difference.
Okay. Anyway, I did want to circle back into the defenses. On Edmonton's side, obviously, you have the big piece in Darnell Nurse, but then you also have
the big piece.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the biggest piece on their D.
Yeah.
That's where they're at. But you also have Tyson Barrie.
I just laugh. That's all. Like
Evan, I get it. Tyson Barrie, Evan Bouchard, whatever is left of Duncan Keith's body, Cody Ceci, and then a number of dudes that they could rotate into the 6th spot, whether that's Chris Russell or if they want to go with Broberg or whoever. But it's a defense that I think the Avalanche can expose pretty heavily.
Bro, we're talking like each team has one meme defenseman, and Jack Johnson is Colorado's like great meme defender.
Yeah.
And they've got Cody Ceci, and Cody Ceci's actually like meaningful to them.
He had to like play really well for them to beat LA.
And like Jack Johnson
is not
is the meme defender.
Yeah.
So that to me, like that alone, I'm like, there's your difference. Those guys are both fine in sheltered roles and blah 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 blah. But I don't know how you look at Edmonton's defense and feel comfortable going into any series, but I guess going into the Kings series, they didn't have anybody on out. There's no goal scoring on the Kings, so not that big of a deal. But the Flames series, like they did a good job.
Yep.
I thought that they were solid. But if you start to dig into the underlying numbers and stuff, like it's just not that great.
No one's underestimating the Oilers. No one is underestimated. They're in the Western Conference Final. They're a good team, but
seriously, how many times do we have to be like, look, if Connor McDavid continues to completely shit on everybody, they're going to win this series? Is that all you want? If you just want us to pick Edmonton so that you can be like, yeah,
right? Like it's.
Is that what you're after? Like
it's the same thing that if we'd be sitting here freaking out like, well, Nathan McKinnon is just as good as Connor McDavid. They both score goals. And did you not see the goal that McKinnon scored in Game 5? It's like, yeah, no, he's very good, but Connor McDavid's just better. There's nothing wrong with the players on Edmonton. But if you think Cody Ceci is Devon Taves, I can't help you. Like, I don't know what else to say.
If you think Cody Ceci is Josh Manson or
right, like
Owen Byram,
like, you've asked him to be something, and he's filled the role fine. Sure,
dude,
you put him on the Avs, and he is the 6th defenseman. He is the 6th defenseman with Sam Girard out.
Dude, I don't know that he's the 6th.
That's an important. Yeah,
I don't even know that he's the 6th.
I would take him over Jack Johnson in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Over Ryan Murray?
In a playoff series. Probably
you hear
just
the 2-man
team I'm gonna put Ryan Murray in, and he's gonna break, and then Cody Ceci will be in my lineup. So, like, I love Ryan Murray when he's healthy. It's just that when you play him, You risk him no longer being healthy, and then he just breaks, and you're like, well, that's not an option anymore.
Well, and someone's like, oh, well, we're hearing the 2-man team narrative. It's like, look at the production. Look at the production all year. Like that's like nothing groundbreaking that we're saying.
Right.
They've won 3 years.
They've won 3 of the last 5 Hart trophies, and McDavid is a finalist again this year. Edmonton's best players are the best at what they do, but there's just the 2 of them. And then after that, there are good players. But you're in a conference final. Do you know who else is on the other team?
A bunch of good players. Well, so I am curious here. One, Tyson Barrie has not been particularly productive through these playoffs so far, only 4 points. Everyone in Colorado knows he's a liability defensively. And then does Duncan Keith have anything left in the tank?
Dude, watching Mikhail Backlund just turnstile that guy.
It was like, oh no.
It was at times I'm watching that and I'm thinking, is he really gonna JT Compher might be able to smoke that guy at this point.
I mean, Val did it a couple years ago.
Well, I'm picturing like a Val Nichushkin like putting his head down and doing that, like, oh right, I'm the choo-choo train, and just like going all the way around that guy and just being like, bye. And I don't know. He's just. I don't think he's great, man. At this point,
In any case, as you both have already started that conversation, you compare that to Colorado's defense and the X factor over there. I think it's an easy one. It's Bowen Byram.
Yeah, man.
That dude stepped up huge for the Avs in St. Louis. If he can continue to play at that level, the Avs defense is straight up scary if Bowen Byram continues to be this good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean Byram has a chance to immediately yell, and it's not like, so you do look at Evan Bouchard on the other side, and Bouchard is really good with the puck. He's really good offensively. Defensively, he's still a really big work in progress, like most guys his age are in the NHL. And what's a little different about Byram is that it's been backwards for him. Defensively,
his defense has been elite. Yeah,
defensively, he's been very, very good, and it's the offense that has been more of a where's it coming from? It's kind of hit or miss. But you do look at his production; he has 5 assists when Girard goes out, and so the production stepped up quite a bit. But also, think about how many assists that did not drop for that guy in the series.
The wide open nets that do
the
flubbing.
That he is hitting guys on the back door and creating offense. And he was so good at the end of that series. And the two-way acumen, his ability, holy smokes, that guy jumping up into the play. And from a tactical standpoint, I am really curious how Edmonton handles Colorado's defense jumping up into the play, because it gave Nashville fits, it gave St. Louis fits, it's been giving everybody fits all year, because Colorado's defense is by far the most active in jumping into it. It's why it's a super high scoring defensive unit. Now without Sam Girard, it's a little tougher, but if you can get increased production from Byram, and look, they're getting points here and there. Josh Manson has 5 points in the postseason. Like they're getting some points out of some of these guys
with an OT game winner.
Yeah, that you're not necessarily. Eric Johnson also has 5 points. Like has an assist on the series clinching goal because he just drove up the ice. And the way that the Avs defensemen just kind of attack, it will be interesting, especially with Edmonton's speed the other way. I want to know. I'm curious to see how those things interact together. Colorado managing its defensive aggression versus Edmonton being able to just ram it down your throat the other way if you make one mistake. Because like Edmonton, you want to make them work for everything that they get. And in the St. Louis series, Colorado gave away too many free goals, making mistakes high in their own zone. Poor decisions, poor plays with the puck. Like, you don't, and Edmonton will crush you the other way if you just hand it to them, hand them a free opportunity. Like,
They
you don't
will
want
finish.
to,
Yeah.
you don't want to be giving like freaking McLeod an opportunity, a free opportunity the other way. Make that guy earn it. And Colorado's aggression has been a two-way, a double-edged sword in that way this year. In that when they don't manage the puck well, it turns into free shit the other way, and it's just really hard. It's just really hard to win playoff games when you give away goals for free. And defensively, I want to see how that lines up, but really, like, for me, your biggest key here is Devon Taves, Cale Makar. If they can handle the Connor McDavid assignment, if they can handle the assignment well enough that the Oilers decide to break up Draisaitl and McDavid and spread them out to try and force some decisions,
Some different looks. Yeah.
you feel like that's a victory for you.
Yep.
But it just give them a different problem to react to. But that's where this has to start. Taves and Makar, you want to stop them to the point that you want to stop them to the point where they consider breaking them up. Because if they continue having the success that they've been having, you're just going to lose. Like,
and
that's it. Like, the Avs will not win if they continue to allow McDavid and Draisaitl to run free.
Well, like the comment there is exactly what puts all the emphasis on exactly what you just said. The McLeod line is there to kill time and keep things even.
That's why I picked McLeod specifically to get a free goal on a breakaway the other way. He's a great skater, can't do anything else.
But like, if any part of your plan playing against the Avs, I'm not saying the Oilers. Ask St. Louis how this went. Ask Nashville how this went. If your plan at any point is we're going to shorten up the bench and just run these guys out, the Avs are going to eat you up.
They will skate you into the ground. Yeah.
Jared Bednar has talked about that all year. We run 4 lines all game because it's a nightmare when we have to play against a team that runs 4 lines. If you're playing against a team that doesn't have to shorten up their bench, and you do, more often than not, you are going to lose the game because you can't skate with them. If there is any part of Edmonton that is saying we have a line or two that is just trying to survive, they are in real trouble. Like, they're in real trouble if you're not trying to win every matchup, because the Avs are going to roll 4 lines every single game down to the final buzzer.
Colorado is purposely nerfing its own third line right now with the New Hook, Burakovsky, one of them in, one of them out, and this Abe Kubel has to be in thing. You would think that in this matchup in particular, they would want maximum offense from that third line.
If you're going to play run and gun with them.
Yeah, I got it against Nashville. I got it less against St. Louis. I don't get it all. I don't understand it for 1 second against Edmonton. So we'll see ultimately how that plays out in this series, but it feels like they're making Edmonton's life a little bit easier by having one of those guys off the ice at all times. And Colorado's fourth line, like dude, Game 6, it tore up the Blues.
Their third and fourth lines literally won Game 6 by themselves.
Like, straight up, JT Compher scores 2 goals and Darren Helm gets the other one. Like that. But Colorado's fourth line was so good that it gave Jared Bednar the confidence to just say, hey, with 15 seconds left, those guys are all pure speed. Just go out there and do a thing. I trust you guys not to make a big mistake. Go out there and try and make a play. And mission accomplished, man. Like, they went out and did it, but they were so good.
All right,
like,
chat.
Just process-wise, up and down the ice, that fourth line. If you can get that fourth line to do it again in this series, then it's gonna cause like some problems.
Chat, a very generous member has given us 4 DNVR annual memberships to give away today. So we're going to give those away. We ask that you put your series prediction in chat. If you're an Oiler fan and you're never going to use our site, don't put your prediction in chat.
Yeah.
Don't steal a membership from someone that would actually use it, please. That's all we ask. If you've never been to our site, if you don't care to ever go to our site, don't take one of these.
Like, let's some common sense here.
So while we let your predictions roll in for your opportunity to win a membership, let's take a look at our predictions. Everyone picked Colorado.
Big shock.
AJ, you're the one who did it in 5 instead of 6, like everyone else.
Here's the truth here. I don't give a shit about the games part of that. I could have picked 5. I could have picked 6. I could have picked 7. It doesn't matter. I think it's going to be a really good series, but I think Colorado. I am trusting Colorado's defense, and that's where I think is the big difference maker for me. Is I'm trusting Colorado's defense to get them through.
All right.
Yep.
And that's if that happens in 5,
agree.
then cool. I am right about it. Like I picked the Avs in 6 and against St. Louis, and who fucking cares?
Someone out there does, AJ.
Yeah, I guess maybe. It just doesn't matter. I think 5, 6, 7. I don't care. It does not matter the length of it. It won't be 4. I feel confident that we're not talking about a sweep here. But I think Colorado's defense will just carry them through. I think that if they had Girard, I would say the best defense left in the postseason. But with no Girard, I would still say it's better than Edmonton's.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm kind of with AJ there. Like, I literally talked about it yesterday. This is another one of those series where, yeah, I guess I would be pretty surprised to see it be a sweep in either direction.
Yeah.
So I think that would maybe the only result where I would say like, wow, I'm genuinely surprised with that. But past that, I really do. I think the Avs are just a better top to bottom team. The Avs have gotten to where they are because of their consistency, not just in their play, but just in their lineup. The difference in, guys on their second line versus guys on their fourth line, it's not as big of a gap, in my opinion. Like you said, I just think the defense is Joe Sakic has spent 5 years building this defense, trying to get this defense. And again, it's not just Edmonton. It's probably every other team that's not Tampa in these playoffs are envious of the Avs, decor. And I'm with AJ. I trust that everything we've seen from them and everything they've put to this point will be enough to get them past what is a high-flying, exciting Oilers team. But I just think there are still more question marks with the Oilers than there are right now in the Avs. And I think that ultimately when the dust settles, it'll be the Avs coming out of this. But I'm with you. It'll be a fun series. It'll be a much different series than what we've seen the first 2 rounds for the Avs. But it'll be fun either way.
I will say I low-key kind of wish we could have gotten an Edmonton-St. Louis series just for fun. Like,
Okay.
not in no conference finals. I just think that those 2 teams would have been really fun against each other.
I see.
But
All right.
bad enough defenses that they couldn't do anything about the offense.
And just let the nonsense continue to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think it would have been. I think that would have been a really. I feel like St. Louis was better than I gave them credit for going into that series, even knowing that they got the lion's share of.
I don't feel like St. Louis was really that good.
But I thought I guess I just liked watching them play. I liked how
they were structured. They were structured.
They were interesting because on any given shift, like something would be, oh my god.
That looked to me like a team that knew they were outgunned and said, cool, we are going to have to play very, very structured to be in this, and give them credit. They did.
Well,
Yeah,
they can,
defensively especially, they love to pack it in and just be
Man,
like, we're gonna
now
block
they-
shots,
packed in all their clothes and can go get structured on the golf course. So,
dude. It's true.
we're gonna give away these subs now. We're giving away 4 of them. Our first winner is, I can't do a drum roll with one hand. It's too hard. Thank you. 22 paper dolls. You've won an annual membership to DNVR. For all of you, if you win,
22.
you can hit up Nathan _Rudolph on Twitter, or if you are part of our Discord, you can just hit up Rudo on the Discord. That also works.
Or just Rudo.
Well, it's actually Rudo 3, but either way. Congratulations, 22 paper dolls. Winner number 2 coming up here.
Why are people calling me the Joker? What did I do?
Congratulations, Law Morty. You have won an annual membership to DNVR.
Woo.
Hit up Nathan _Rudolph. Number 3.
Oh, are we supposed to be drum rolling after?
After all of these.
Yeah,
Good
that
God,
was
man.
the idea. Wow, you got slackers in this
Well, I
chat.
thought you were going to do it like all at once. I mean, again, the winners are one
Oh
drum
my
roll.
God.
You same old.
Poorly shot out here. Congratulations, Aaron Gardner. You are our 3rd winner of a DNVR annual membership. And I guess we'll do number 4 without a drum roll, since we've got lazy members on the podcast here. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's more like it. Congratulations, Mike Ray. Rhea? Mike Ray? Mike Rhea? One of those 2.
I'd say Ray. Yeah.
You
Ray.
have won an annual DNVR membership. Again, anyone who won, hit up Nathan _Rudolph on Twitter. That's the easiest way. If you're part of our Discord, you can also hit me up there, though. That works.
As an aside, Edmonton, do you guys have a landmark in your city that you're particularly fond of?
For no particular reason.
Just asking out of curiosity here.
You're particularly fond of.
Is there an Edmonton landmark that you guys are big fans of? Because that would be great if you guys could let me know.
Did you go see the Arch when you were in St. Louis? I know that's not what you're talking about, but I was super underwhelmed by it from afar. But like when I got up close, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
A quick Google search tells me the Alberta legislature building is big.
The Gretzky statue.
Yeah, put that one on the list.
That's it.
That's it.
We got it.
One final note we haven't really mentioned: special teams. How big of a factor are they going to be?
Always big, always important, man. The one thing, going through the numbers, and if you read the season preview that I write, or if you just want to flip through the actual just like fancy charts and shit, which is okay. You'll see that Colorado's PK was actually really good in that series. It's just, as we've talked about, the Blues, very opportunistic.
Jared Bednar spent the vast majority of practice today doing special teams, but all the focus was on talking to the penalty killers. It's usually the other way around. It's usually they're talking a lot about how to make the power play tick. This was a lot of stopping and talking to penalty killers. So they are absolutely focused on it.
Okay,
All right,
apparently
give another one away.
Yeah, Mike's already got one, so we're gonna give another one away. Also, did you just give us $5 to tell us to give it away? Thank you, Mike.
Mike's the man.
That's true Vibe
appreciate
Tribe
it.
shit
Yeah.
right there.
That's the real deal right there. All right, we're giving this one away one more time. The winner is Justin Sprinkle.
Would they be smart to stay out of the box? Really? I always thought taking penalties was one of those hockey axioms. The more, the better. You know, you love being a man down.
Do you remember? Not all that long ago, people actually did talk about like, oh yeah, they just picked up this guy. He had 150 penalty minutes last year.
Yeah,
Like that was something that people were like stoked on.
yeah.
It's like,
Justin
yeah,
Sprinkle, congratulations.
great
Hit up
last name, if that's your
Nathan.
last name.
__ Rudolph on Twitter. Get your annual membership all sorted out. Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like taking penalties has never been worse than now in the NHL.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm a big fan of 5-on-5 hockey. Has suddenly become my favorite thing in the world. I get really weirdly stressed during penalty kills and power plays now. Like my blood pressure spikes before the puck is even dropped, and I'm just like, I just don't. 5v5, please.
This mic is actually broken right now, so I'm not even using this mic. There's a little wireless mic attached to the backside,
making it look good.
Gotcha, sucker.
Yeah, it's just hiding the little wireless mic that's on the other side here. I appreciate you looking out, though.
Oh my god, that was great. The sad admission.
Yeah, I was like, I had everyone fooled except for the one person that realized I didn't even have it set up properly.
Yeah, he's like, I have that mic. Why does that mic sound so shitty? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Dude, I swear half of production is just how much can you get away with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Will anyone call us on this? No, let's go with it.
This is what I'm talking into. Clip to the other side over here.
Perfect. $5 from Sneaker Shack. I believe the Avs will need to score at least 5 goals a game to win. I'm sorry, I just can't believe Darcy can win a game for us when we can't score. If the Avs need to score 5 goals a game to win, they're going to lose some games.
Yeah. You know what? I'll let that one go by.
Okay.
I mean, we just talked about it. Game 6.
Yep. Darcy
2
kept
goals.
them to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh Manson. As he said, you're welcome, Darcy.
Look, the same way funny bounces still count the same as goals. Pucks that don't go in the net, doesn't matter how, they don't count.
We're about to get into the hyper loop again of a series. Is there anything else that we want to talk about hockey related?
Nope.
I mean, we're gonna break down the other conference final on Wednesday. So
yeah, we'll do. That's one thing. It just seems like this is the last chance that we have before we're back right into that grind, and we're like everything else hockey world related is just off our radar.
Eagles season just ended last night.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Which sucks.
The quadfecta's dead.
Well, actually the Grizzlies lost before the Eagles did, so it's just the Avs now. But
you can still get 2 of the 4.
Yep. 50% ain't bad.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 5, Aaron. Much appreciated. Congrats on the subscription. I think you won one of them. I'll go back.
To answer Kira, no, Joe. There's a lot of talking about. Honestly, it's funny, and I guess you could look at it as a good thing. Boy, oh boy, our answer is consistent from Joe Sakic all the way down to the players. We weren't trying to beat round 2. We were trying to beat the St. Louis Blues. And last year we weren't trying to beat round 2. We were trying to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. Now we're not trying to beat round 3. We're playing the Edmonton Oilers. Talked about some of the players that he's acquired, making a big impact. That's why we went out and got him. We believe in this group. Nothing overly groundbreaking from Joe today.
Given the Avs' depth, realistically, no one from the Eagles is going to be playing in these playoffs.
Yeah, I was talking with somebody yesterday about Black Aces, and I was like,
not going to happen.
I guess they could bring up McDonald just to be on the safe side. Like,
yeah.
Then if maybe JJ and Ryan Murray go down or something.
Yeah, and you don't want to play McDermott.
Yeah.
So, did you go have a beer with Tim Peel or what?
I didn't. He had a ticket to the game, but he DM'd me. He apologized. And I was like, hey, man, it happens to everybody. No big deal. Whatever. But dude, that was weird. I had some NHL folks reach out to me and be like, hey, sorry you're having to deal with that. I had another ref reach out and say, hey, I see you're dealing with a former colleague. Sorry you have to deal with that. Not even worth it to get into it with him, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, that blew up in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And Greg Wyshynski's tweet made me laugh because he just screenshotted my initial tweet that Tim Peel replied to. And it was, I didn't fully appreciate just how random it was. Cause he was getting in my DMs the night before already. So when I saw it come back up, I was in the middle of texting AJ and the banner dropped down and I out loud in my hotel room, I went, no fucking way. I just couldn't believe that he was back for a second night of this. And so I didn't fully appreciate that. I tweeted out a quote, an Avs quote, and he responds with, Jesse, can you change your picture to an actual picture of you?
Can you not be an emoji?
Yeah. And it's just, so it was all really funny. But yeah, I've had a weird amount of people ask me, so actually I went and did CBS 4 All Access last night. And the producer, not even Romy Bean, who's awesome, who's around the Avs and stuff, the producer goes, was that a real NHL ref that was talking crap to you? And I was like, yeah, it was. I was like, well, he's not anymore, I guess. But yeah, so no, a weird amount of people saw that. And in retrospect, it was a really weird moment. But
it was the whole thing, man, just killed me.
But yeah, no, he followed me the next day and sent me a DM to apologize. So
and then he spent a whole day on Twitter apologizing to Avs fans.
He went on the apology tour for sure,
walking all of it back, where he was just like, "Sorry about that."
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Were you drunk or do we get to figure out what were you just being a dick and you were like, ooh, this is a really bad look for me, or were you bombed? What was the deal, dude? And he was just like, sorry, Avs fans.
Oops. Yeah, no, but he offered to meet up, but I told him I'd be up in the press box, and he was like, oh, well, I'm down in the seats, whatever. So now we're all good. Maybe we'll get him on the show this summer, and we'll bury that.
That'll be
welcome anytime.
That'll be a great show for me having a day off. Because I won't be polite, so I don't want to ruin that.
Alrighty, I think we're good. Any other final thoughts or crazy stories? No,
man, I'm really excited for the series. I said during the regular season, Edmonton was the team I didn't want anything to do with, and then I picked Colorado in 5. So fuck me, right? No, I just think this is the kind of series that is great for hockey. This is what you get excited for. Absolutely no offense intended whatsoever to Rangers Canes Game 7, but I feel like everybody's way more hyped up for Game 1 tomorrow than they are for tonight. If it just a Game 7 because it's Game 7, people are like, woo! But I think people are really, really excited to see this series. I mean, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, you get the Battle of the Evil X's continues from Colorado's side. I love the Darcy Kemper, Mike Smith subplot.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Sakic went all in on the goalie carousel last year. Ken Holland sat on his hands and then did the stranger later that day. Who ended up being correct? Who comes out of that being right? And I think getting head to head, one of them is going to go to the Stanley Cup final, and that's the GM who gets to be like, I was right.
Yeah.
They should legitimately hold off the GM of the year voting until the series is decided. And whoever comes out of this series, that's the one who gets it.
Okay. We are going to get out of here. Next time you hear from us will be pregame before Game 1. So Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Pre-game, watch along, post-game, all that. Again, if you want a sub, hit me up, Nathan_Rudolph on Twitter, and we'll get you all sorted out for that. We love all you, every single one of you. Yeah, even you Edmonton fans. We appreciate you being in the chat.
Yeah. Bye, Blues fans, and hello, Oilers fans.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we will talk to you later.